accurate, and reliable. This is News Channel 12 at 11.
He was a music friend, because music's emotion, and Dick Clark brought out the emotion in everybody.
The legacy of a legend. We remember Dick Clark and the memories he leaves behind. And Storm Track 12 live Doppler lights up tonight with storms moving into eastern North Carolina. Good to a legend tonight, Dick Clark.
Star of our show, Dick Clark! The great wholesome majority of American teenagers tonight, Dick, this is your life!
The popular TV host, producer, entrepreneur died today from a massive heart attack. For decades, he gave us great music acts, and he helped us ring in the new year for many years. More now from ABC's Scott Goldberg.
Live from Philadelphia, it's time for America's favorite dance party, American Bandstand.
Dick Clark on the show that made the perennial teenager and rock and roll icon part of every American family.
We have great memories of Dick Clark. We grew up every Saturday, 1 o'clock, watching Dick Clark.
He brought hundreds of artists and dancing teens into our homes, and that opened the door for his contemporaries.
He made rock and roll, my kind of broadcasting, very acceptable. I was accepted in homes because of Dick Clark.
For 4 decades, he brought generations together from all over the country and world, watching the ball drop in Times Square on his New Year's Rockin' Eve.
How can you not think of Dick Clark when you're standing here? It's just such a sad loss for Times Square, for the world.
The ball will drop and the new year will come, but he will be sorely, sorely missed.
Ryan Seacrest appeared regularly with Clark and stood in for him when Clark suffered a stroke in 2005. Seacrest said in a statement, "I am deeply saddened by the loss of my dear friend Dick Clark. He has truly been one of the greatest influences in my life. My thoughts and prayers are with his family." And President Obama paid tribute to Clark in a release, saying, "More important than his groundbreaking achievements was the way he made us feel, as young and vibrant and optimistic as he was." And from Pennsylvania Avenue to Sunset and Vine, this legendary pioneer is being remembered for his life and legacy. Scott Goldberg, ABC News, New York.
Now, Dick Clark not only softened the edges of rock and roll music, he raised the bar for DJs and MCs all across the country, including some right here in eastern North Carolina. News Channel 12's Mike Valerio is live in the newsroom with that side of Dick Clark tonight. Mike?
Well, Wes, Dick Clark helped music to come alive in homes across America. So tonight, we went to Classic Hits 107.9 WNCT, and we asked their radio personalities how Dick Clark changed the past in their own lives. Dick Clark didn't just change the music industry, he changed lives and inspired waves of DJs to follow in his footsteps. 107.9 WNCT's Doug Marland, a.k.a. Uncle Doug, was one of Bandstand's biggest fans.
I loved it. And the rate a record, when you could rate a new record, a new artist, how amazing was that, huh?
We asked him to think back to the first Bandstand he ever saw. It was in 1960, when he wasn't even 10 years old.
Bobby V singing Devil or Angel.
Devil or angel, I can't make up my mind.
Fellow DJ Jeff Diamond also tuned in, and that's one of the reasons he's behind the microphone today.
You know, learning the dance moves and all the artists, of course, that Dick Clark, you know, kind of made their careers. Syndicated shows like Rock, Roll, and Remember. I remember listening to those shows growing up and going, hey, that's really cool. I like the way he does his countdowns.
Jeff and Uncle Doug told us Dick Clark was a legend because he was non-judgmental and he knew how to interview both artists and kids in the audience, and that's a quality that still resonates with DJs today.
But he was a music friend, because music's emotion, and Dick Clark brought out the emotion in everybody.
His voice and his legacy lives on as Jeff and Doug keep the spirit of this American classic alive. And both Doug and Jeff said that they have several tribute shows lined up for tomorrow, showcasing the stars discovered on Bandstand. For now, we're live in the newsroom. Mike Valerio, News Channel 12.
Who didn't like Dick Clark? Thank you, Mike. Clark hosted American Bandstand until 1989. His first show taped in the No Frills Studio B of WFIL-TV in Philadelphia. Also tonight, we have a couple of new